Well, just because we talk about it doesn't mean that we're actually going to do it. And just because we investigate it doesn't mean we're actually going to do it. We're always going to be fiscally responsible and make sure we stay within the
No, I understand that, but last year at this very meeting, we said that we were happy with the money that we had and that the fees weren't going up. And then this year they went up. And so Heritage was here, and nobody said anything about the 75 needing to increase to 100. And you know, we've paid money for things that we truly appreciate, the grill and the gazebos, and I use them and I like them, but you know, if we know our fees are going to go up, then we may make better decisions about what we're going to spend our money on.
The fees are going up not just because we're spending on things. Things just cost more.
No, I understand
Cost
that.
of living went up 5% last year because I had to investigate it for something else. Cost of living went up 5%.
I mean,
our dues went up 3%.
Electricity, it's at least 20% more expensive than it used in the years before. So some of it is projects, but a lot of it is just keeping up with the cost of things. And that's some of the, you know, again, you can come to the meetings and you'll see that the vast majority of the time what we spend our time doing is just paying bills and making sure that things, you know, and controlling cost.
I would definitely want to support that. For example, this gazebo idea sounds like a good idea until I know what the price is. You see, for example, I think before we rush into this project, we really need to consider.
Yeah, well, that's why you're elected to the board.
And they're there to investigate these, so these ideas.
It's not a referendum every time.
May not take place. It's just looking at the idea. I mean, because we want somebody looking at future projects.
And what typically happens for large projects is the board will look at it for this year, and then in the next election next year, they'll say, okay, this is what we looked at, this is what we're looking at, and this is how much it's going to cost. And then by electing the board or not electing, or even just voting through the issue itself, then at that point it's a good time to move forward. This is not something that's going to happen this summer. A baby pool is not going to be, you know, not going to be any different. But, you know, putting it, yes.
I just wanted to say thank you to the Architect Review Committee because I have submitted my request to put in a new roof, and you know it got lost in the shuffle. But y'all did a great job turning it around on time because my roofer was waiting for me.
On the roof?
Yeah.
I'll appreciate it. We don't get a lot of that. We do our best. You know, sometimes they do get. We've had a couple of technical. We don't know if it's technical glitch or what, but there's a couple of electronically submitted one that we never got. And but Jerry also keeps track of everything. And every meeting we try to go through them, and if it's faster, we try to go faster.
I just want to say that, I mean, I agree with her that we also need to think, like, if we can improve things in our community, in our neighborhood, it would be nice. Like, you know, I always like to say, why, like in the future, I know it's not going to happen now, but we can have like a clubhouse like everybody has that you can do with parties. And I don't think that's something bad. I think that adds more to our neighborhood, even if, you know, if we could, you know, save every year some, you know, for the site for that, for anything. So it's good to have more improvements in our neighborhood.
And that's sort of how the board balances all this.
Right.
And those big projects and those add-ons are always, they're never done, you know, in silos. It's always done with usually a vote coming in the next election. It's just like the fence painting project.
That project was actually looked at for a second story, and it ended up being a significant expense that we didn't have the funds to cover. So we deferred that idea at this time because, you know, it was, I think, 120 or something was the quote we got.
121, whatever.
Yes. Something like that.
Okay, last comments about money. Reserves. Last year it was 75K. This year is 75 to 100K. I hope next year it's not going to be 100 to 125.
No, but it's always going to be about 3 to 5% more from year to year. Because all these things that can potentially happen are always going to cost more.
With an aging subdivision, I mean, it's aging each year, and it's costing more to repair things. And we don't want to have to, you know, have a major repair without being prepared for it.
So how much did we make in the money market on our $75,000 last year?
A million.
What's the rate on our money market, Jerry? I know it's like I haven't been paying attention recently.
CD or money market?
The money market account.
We have both, that's right.
Where our money is.
The CD is approximately, the one that you bought is 3%.
Okay.
And the money market is about 1.9%. It's going down.
That's still better than mine.
As good as it was.
It's better than
1.25, yeah, right.
I still want to push this idea because although I'm not on the board, I really do not understand why we need to accumulate so much money. All right, because we have insurance, number one, for catastrophic events. Okay, and most likely in any one given year, we're not going to have an event that's going to cost us that much money. Okay, so I think we really, can I finish, please?
I'm sorry.
Thank you. I really wish we consider, I mean, putting a cap on the capital reserve so we can see.
Yeah,
Well, just
that's a valid consideration, for sure.
to be considered by the
Well,
board.
keep in mind that
What kind of,
when you look at the reserve, when you look at the reserve study for the property, the reserve study lays out expenditures going forward 5 to 10 years. And in 5 years, you're probably going to need to resurface the parking lot at a cost of $25,000. And the money's going to be there in 5 years. So you're saving now for expenses that you're going to have down the road. Clubhouse maintenance, the aging of the property, increased costs like landscaping. If you got involved in a lawsuit, even if you weren't culpable, you'd have to pay to defend yourself, and that could be easily $10,000. So you don't want to be in a situation where you do not have reserves to pay for the unanticipated expenses and the anticipated expenses. So it's just prudent to have at least $75,000 for a community of this size.
I'm not arguing against maintaining the reserve fund, but the point that you raise is exactly the issue. Because once we get to a certain limit, what we're paying for is for future expenditure on the subdivision, one in which you may not be living in at that time, the expense occurs. All right? So once you get to $75,000, I don't really see why we keep adding on to it. So I just want us to be prudent about that.
I think if I understand what they said correctly, that the Heritage recommended 75 to 100. I don't think they actually said we're going to go to 100,000.
The plan this year is to add about 9,000, and last year that was all taken by repairs, unplanned repairs. So there was basically nothing that went to reserves last year.
we had planned
Like
some
$1,000, I think.
more for the capital reserves this year, and those didn't go because of the unplanned maintenance that we had. You know, we had with the pool, we had a pump blow up, and the
Sand repairs.
Pool lights blowing out.
the sand and pool lights
And
were
then
more
increase in the
expensive.
cost of
The water
service.
heater, the pipes. So we ended up actually getting the amount. So that's what we were talking about earlier, sir, about the maintenance of the place is significantly, like I can just say a few years ago, nothing went wrong. Now it's something literally every week. There's something going on that we have to get a plumber or a electrician or somebody to look at. So
Still talking about 25,000.
yeah, it's a significant amount of money. I see your point, and I think it's a fair point. I think we could, here's what we can commit to you. Let's analyze the budget and see what just like we do every year, what our actuals end up. And if we end up, in a situation where we're at a level, we can reduce the assessment, or we could do a rebate. I wouldn't be opposed to either of those ideas, but we have to stabilize the capital reserve first, which last year I think we had 65, so we added about 10 this year.